Bad Day for Sir Handel is the 6th episode of the 4th series, based on the story simply titled Sir Handel from the Railway series book 4 Little Engines. This story shows us Sir Handel and Peter Sam first arriving on the Skarloey Railway after they were bought after the closure of their old railway. But does this hold up as well as it did back in the 90s? Let's dive right in. Skarloey and Rheneas enjoy working on their railway that weaves around the lakes on the long mountainside. Their coaches are filled with visitors and the engines are proud to run the line come rain or shine. They will never let their passengers down, but due to their age they tire more easily. Their drivers understand this and tell them that the manager is sending 2 more engines to help them run the line since there's more than enough work for the 2 of them on the railway. Both Skarloey and Rheneas are pleased with the news and they promise that they will give the new engines a big welcome. The newcomers, who are named Sir Handel and Peter Sam, arrive one day. Sir Handel is rude, complaining about the sheds and insulting Skarloey. Peter Sam is much friendlier, explaining to a sympathetic Skarloey that Sir Handel is quite a nice engine, but is simply upset at the moment. Sir Handel's fireman comes to get him ready for a passenger train run at the top station. Sir Handel initially refuses, stating that he is tired and asks if Peter Sam can do it instead. But the fireman firmly tells Sir Handel that he will go first. When Sir Handel picks up some coaches, he despises their looks and insults them by calling them cattle trucks. The coaches are hurt, with Sir Handel simply saying that they are not the sort of coaches he is used to. Sir Handel arrives at Craven's Gate and meets Gordon, who brings some passengers who board Sir Handel's train. The 2 engines introduce themselves, and Sir Handel recognises Gordon as a fellow express engine. He goes on to say that he is used to smart coaches and praises Gordon's own, but quickly heads off, leaving Gordon speechless. When Sir Handel reaches the top station, he is very cross when he hopes for a rest, but his driver tells him that he is expected to collect trucks from the quarry. He refuses to do so and punctuates his point by deliberately derailing himself. By the time Peter Sam arrives with workmen to put Sir Handel back on the rails, Sir Handel starts to feel rather silly. The Fat Controller, who is also on board, sternly tells Sir Handel that he will talk to him later. Then he leaves aboard Peter Sam. That evening, Sir Handel returns to the sheds to find the Fat Controller waiting for him. He scolds Sir Handel for his naughty behaviour and shuts him up in the sheds until he can be trusted to behave. This was initially the first time we would be introduced to the Skarloey Railway as well as Skarloey and Rheneas, but because of the way the episodes were aired, this came after 4 Little Engines, so they were shown in the wrong order on TV and the DVD. And that's one thing I forgot to mention about the Series 4 Complete Series 4 DVD. All the episodes of Series 4 are actually listed in their production order, and it's the same on the Thomas Wiki page. Luckily I was able to suss out which episodes should be in what order for most of the series, but for the remainder of the series I had to use Wikipedia to get the airing dates so I could get the episodes in the right order for this review series. But despite it airing in the wrong way, this is an episode that I always loved watching as a kid, and it was an episode I used to quote a lot in my youth, usually Sir Handel's rude remarks, but mostly when I was reenacting the episodes with my Ertl models. And one of my favourite remarks from Sir Handel is when he insults the coaches.
Whatever next? Those aren't coaches, they're cattle trucks. Ooh! Screamed the coaches. What a horrid engine! It's not what I'm used to. Thanks, Sir Handel.
Oh, you dumpy little cunt. What a fucking liberty.
And Michelangelis plays the part really well with Sir Handel's rudeness, giving him a much deeper and older sounding voice compared to when he was known as Falcon, compared to his higher pitched voice when he was Falcon back in the Duke episodes.
How can I learn the route with you lumbering ahead and blocking the view?
Sir Handel now has a deeper, older sounding voice.
What a small shed, grunted Sir Handel. This won't do at all. We're much too smart for this old shack.
Huge kudos to Michelangelis for putting it off so well. And I've always found his interaction with Gordon in the episode so hilarious. How it seems like the 2 are going to chat about being express engines for a long time and then Sir Handel just rushing off of his train, leaving Gordon speechless. It's almost as if Gordon is thinking, I have never met an engine quite like him before. A Bad Day for Sir Handel is also the start of a goof that's ongoing throughout the 4th series and pops up every now and then in the 5th series, where Gordon has Duck's whistle for some reason. I mean, here's what Gordon's whistle sounds like, and here's what Duck's sounds like. For some reason throughout Series 4, Gordon have had Duck's whistle. And I'm not really sure why this occurred, but it is kind of funny when you think about it. Funny little goof that doesn't ruin the series as a whole. And I've always found it funny how the Fat Controller speaks to Sir Handel while he's being put back on the rails, just to tell him that he'll talk to him later.
His message to Sir Handel was brief and blunt. I shall talk to you later.
But wouldn't it have made sense for him just to give him his message then, or just waited for him to come back to the sheds? But I still enjoy that scene a lot. and him telling Sir Handel that he'll talk to him later has just become an iconic line with the TV series. It's just another fun episode showing us that naughty characters don't always get their way. Karma will bite them back in the end. And Karma definitely bites back with Sir Handel when he derails himself and gets the bollocking from the Fat Controller. But the biggest difference from the book in the TV episode is the fact that we don't have a thin controller running the narrow gauge railway yet. At this point it's being run by the Fat Controller himself as well as the standard railway. In fact, the TV series wouldn't get a thin controller until the 9th series of the show. So until then the railway was run by the Fat Controller. So the guy had a hell of a job running 2 railways. Jeez, this guy's a busybody. A Bad Day for Sir Handel has always been one of my favourite episodes from the 4th series, and I always look forward to rewatching it whenever I put it on DVD. It's definitely an episode I recommend checking out if you have the time. It's a great introduction to the Skarloey Railway, a wonderful reintroduction to Sir Handel and Peter Sam after they leave Duke's Railway, and it's got a great message on how Karma is a bitch. It's definitely worth a watch.